Hi, this is Alimayo Arango of ArangoDigitalProduction.com, and today I want to show you how to create a on-screen video tutorial. One of my subscribers asked me how I went about creating video tutorials, so I'm going to show you, what software I use and the settings I use, and generally how I go about doing it. So let's get started. Okay, I'm recording these on-screen video tutorials. The software that I actually use to do the screen capture is Camstudio, which you can see actually recording the tutorial that I'm making right now. Camstudio, it records in high definition. There are a couple things that you need to do to Camstudio to make sure that it works in the way that you want it to work. Some of the issues that Camstudio will give you sometimes is having problems with video and audio syncing together properly. Okay, and as far as having the audio and video sync together properly, one of the things you can do to help with this, I found out, and this is my method of dealing with it, is go to one of the things the video recording or screen capturing seems to take a lot of power. So right now I'm actually running in 1920 by 1080p, and typically what I'll do is you see my two monitors set up here. I'll click on this monitor and I'll actually lower the resolution down to 1280 by 720. Okay, and this seems to make the audio and video sync a lot better for me. Other things you need to do as far as Camstudio is you need to go into the options. You want to go into your video options, and these settings work for me. I mean, Camstudio, it's pretty good. Again, you can't beat it. It's free, shoots in high definition. I definitely had some issues when I first started using it. I would recommend you use these settings. These are the settings that work for me, and it's just set keyframes 25. Every set keyframes for every 25 frames, capture frames every 40 milliseconds, and then playback rate 25 frames per second. Okay, and another thing you need to do as far as your Camstudio options is go to options, audio options, and then audio options for microphone, and you want to make sure you have this checked right here. Interleave every 100 milliseconds, and also this checkbox here. Make sure you have a check in here for use MCT Recording. Something else that I would recommend if you're planning to do these on-screen tutorials is not to use your actual microphone if you're using a laptop like I am. I'm on a Samsung Chrono Series laptop. I recommend you not use the regular microphone. You can see actually right here I use a microphone. The microphone I use is a Samsung Go mic, and it's actually, this is the microphone that I use. It's actually, I got this for about $60. You can see they actually have it on sale right now. This is my gosh, this is 2013. This is actually December 13th. But anyway, today they actually have this thing on sale for $39.99. It's a pretty decent mic. I mean, the sound is pretty clear. It runs off the power of your computer. It's got this little clip-on thing that makes it easy to clip on whatever, so you don't have to hold it up next to your mouth. But I would recommend you either get this mic or another mic, and this mic tends to be the best mic that I could find as far as a computer mic for this price. Okay, and another thing about Camstudio, I mean, you'll see different tutorials or different people possibly talking about this. There's multiple options you can use as far as recording a region. Specifically, what I use is actually, because I'm on a two-screen setup, I just use select screen, and I just click on this screen, and it just records this entire screen, which works well for me. There is, you can see your options right here where you can actually record all the screens. Or you can record a fixed region or window. But yeah, I'm just showing you this there just so you know your options. Unless you're, I think your best bet is probably just to record your entire screen. And you can go as far as the region of screen. You can go into other facts and find information about that. The main thing I wanted to get through to you guys here was as far as the video and the sound sync used to drive me crazy. One of the things that I do to help me deal with that, there was a major thing. If you go to my earlier YouTube tutorials about 2 months ago, I had some serious sound sync problems, and basically the way that I learned to deal with that is what I do is if I have a thought or something that I want to say, I'll record that, and that'll normally go for about 2 minutes, and then I'll hit the stop button, and then I'll just restart up again. When I first started doing it, it was a frustration to me because it seemed like it actually broke my chain of thought. Just hitting that stop button seemed like it kind of stopped my thoughts. But now I've actually found that it helps me out because I basically go to a thought, hit the stop button, and if there's some kind of mess up, I can go right back up and start over. It actually makes it easier, and pretty much as long as each segment is about 2 minutes long, the sound sync is pretty dead on. Okay, and just so you know what version of Camstudio I'm using. This is I guess Camstudio version 2.6. Yeah, the thing I was saying about breaking up the videos, this is actually the folder of all of my different files. So even as I'm recording this tutorial, this is already broken up into 8 different files, and it definitely, it can definitely seem annoying at first. Like I said, I've actually come to like this. But as far as these files being broken up, I'm going to show you how I take these into the video editor and why this is no big deal. As long as when you do your recording, you tape it, you will stop it and then you number it. It really isn't a problem, and I'll show you why now. Okay, the software that I use to edit these video tutorials in is actually Blender right here. And Blender is a very strange program, and that Blender is mainly known as a 3D and animation program. But you do not have to be afraid of Blender. So I'll open up Blender so you can see here. Current version of Blender I'm using is 2.69. In Blender, it is a 3D and animation program. If you have no interest in any of that, don't worry about it. Blender is still probably your best option as far as a free open source video editor. Okay, one of the things I definitely want to make mention of with Blender. Blender is an amazing and incredible program. One of the things with Blender that might throw you for a loop, though, is that Blender's default select is right-click. So that you don't get confused with that, I would recommend you go to File, User Preferences, if this is your first time using Blender, and I would assume for a lot of you it probably will be. Then you would go to Input, and then you would just click Select with left click, again, rather than Blender's default select with right click, and this will probably just help you out. So to edit your multiple files together, what you would do is you would just go right up to this arrow here, select here, go to video editor or video editing, click here, and Blender, here's your Blender's video editing. You actually can again just skip right past the 3D and the animation parts and come right into here. And basically what you would do to bring your files in is you would just go add movie, and then you would look for your files. Second. So these are the video files right here. This is actually the file that I am recording as I talk right here, being recorded, you can see. But basically you'll just select all these files and bring them all in. And because these files all have, I all just numbered the files, they'll come in order, they'll come in, right together, and pretty easy. Oh, and another thing, as far as Camstudio, so hopefully this doesn't mess up because I'm actually using it as I'm recording it. To make sure you know where your file is going to go, you're going to go to Program Options, and then you're going to go to Directory for Recording. And then once you click in here, this will actually give you the file where, so you know exactly where your files that are being recorded from Camstudio are actually going to. Okay, and I'll take you through very quickly how I how I actually edit the videos that I record. It's kind of like a weird looking in a mirror thing, because I'm actually recording a tutorial now and going to be showing you how I'm doing it as I'm doing it. So anyway, typically what I do, you see that this is your timeline indicator in Blender. All right, you have your basic controls right here. You select this button right here, it takes you right back to the beginning. You actually don't. You can actually add your movies in by clicking add here and going here, or you can go like, here's a file. Here's my intro extra file that I use to to put the beginning and endings of my video. So I can actually pull from here and pull this right over, and then there you can see that Blender actually just from me grabbing and pulling it from one file to another, it pulled in the file right here. In Blender, the green is your actual sound, and the blue is your actual video. And you can see when I scrub along the recorder, there's my the intro video there. For the purposes of YouTube and not getting in trouble, if you have some audio for your music, if you can prove that you made it, go ahead and use it. If not, just select your audio. Again, this isn't the audio for what I'm recording. This is the audio for my intro. If you just hit X and then erase strips, it'll get rid of that audio. Typically what I'll do is I'll bring in, this is a intro and extra for my beginning. I get to this white part right here. I have the time indicator right here. I make sure I'm selected on, then I'll hit K. That splits the strip, the video strip. Then I'll select here, and you can see it's highlighted there. Hit G to grab this ending part, and I'll just pull this over here for now. Now when I bring the next video in here, the next video parts will come right into where this play hid is at. Okay, so this is what's going on right now. These are all of the files of this video tutorial right now. This is me actually talking right now, being recorded. So what I'll do typically is I will again, they'll come right in here to the front of this this playhead right there, and you can maneuver this playhead by hitting left on your with your arrow key or your right arrow key on your keyboard to line it up, and you can see what's going on here right now. This is, let me pull this out of the way. So here's the beginning, the ending part of that beginning intro video, and then you can use this to line, get yourself exactly where you want to go. Then you go add movie, right? Find the find where you made your directory for your Camstudio. So user videos. Okay, so here's all my files here. So typically what I would do is just grab all these, box select, hit add movie strip, and now here's the videos right there. It's funny, you can see the my screen, the first one, how this tutorial actually started off right there. Okay, and in Blender you can, if I go over the screen, my viewpoint here, and I just roll my mouse, I can zoom in so I can see what's going on. Also, while you're in here in Blender, basically the way Blender works is these are frames right here. So right now it's set for start frame 1 to 250. So this is my timeline right here. If I roll my mouse wheel back, I can see all of the different strips. You can see strip 1, 2, 3, and so forth. And if I hold the middle mouse button down and pull, I can just roll my strips to the left. So here's the ending strip right here. Okay, so typically what I would do, again, I'm rolling in. I have my my intro on there. What I'm doing now is I'm just rolling in to grab my my extras. Here's my intro right here. I click here, and you can see it's selected with that white around it. Now I'll roll out, hold the middle mouse button, pull so I can see the ending, and then I'll right click, and this brings my timeline indicator here. I'll line it up kind of right here, and then if I hit that extra or my ending animation, I'll hit Shift S, and what happens when you hit Shift S is whatever is selected will snap to this time frame indicator here. Okay, and as you look at these video strips and sound strips, here is my video and here's my sound strip, and you can see that this video is not set up with this this sound sync. And the reason why is you have to go and set your frame rate up. So we are in the video editing part right now. The easiest way I can show you how to do this next part, and don't get confused by this. Here's the video editing. Blender will remember that we're in the video editing part, right? But we're going to go up here. You're going to select here. You're then going to go to default. This takes us back into the 3D part. I know that I told you could skip and all. Everything is still there in the video editor, right? But for my settings, the way I do things is typically what I'll do is I'll come here. I'll select 720p, all right, and then remember for the Camstudio setup we had it was set for 25 frames a second. I just selected that just because that was the best way to get the audio and the video to sync right. So when I changed this to 25 frames a second, when we go back into the video editing part, you should see that the video and the audio was set up, right, and we'll set up the rest of this while we're out here. So to actually render this video out, you want to, Blender's default is Blender typically will export PNGs. It's set up that way by default. I would recommend you select this triangle here, go to H.264, and go to encoding. You see AVI, change this to MPEG-4. And then one last thing, to have the audio actually come out for this tutorial, I have to set my audio codec, so I would select here and click MP3, and now everything should be go with MP3. So we'll have audio MPEG-4 2.64, and then we have our H.264, and then typically this thing right here, this display, means that as soon as I start to render, Blender will replace this display with this. It's better off just to select here and go to new window. And the main reason why I tell you to do that is if you're trying to close the rendering window, you don't shut Blender by accident. So what we're going to do now is just go right back up to this arrow, select here, go back to video editing, and now you can see here is the video and here is the audio, and you can see that it's actually in sync now. So now here is my my ending part right there. So now what you want to do for there, if you're doing like me, you have a beginning and ending for yourself to try to brand yourself. Just make sure you go take this keyframe indicator, go right to the end, and then I'm going to hit my number arrows to go to where it's black. Make sure I'm selected on here, and I'm going to hit Shift S, and now you can see I'll left click to lock in, and then it snapped right there. And now here is the actual, I'll zoom out so you guys can see the whole thing. So here is my the whole setup here, and I hope I didn't confuse you, Daniel. You had asked me in the message board about this. This video's for you mainly, and hopefully anybody else who has an interest in this, that can, hopefully you guys will get something out of it. But so here's my intro. There's all my different parts. So even though I recommended that you take the parts and break them up, Blender, because they're numbered, Blender brings them in, and it pretty much brings them in seamlessly. I mean, it looks like it's one file. It plays through. And then it, there's my, come up to my intro there. Okay, now once you have everything, out to like or your extra or whatever, your ending credits, you go to like the last frame, right? Blender again is set up by frames right here. It's set up to start rendering at frame 1 and end at frame 250. All right, so 250 is not long enough. So what you want to do here is you want to select here. And this is just the ending frame. This is where this keyframe indicator is on. You're going to hit Control C, right? Click in the end frame, and then hit Control V, and now your frames are set up the right way that they should be. Okay, and now with your all your video and audio synced, with everything in here, with if you have your intro and your credits on there all lined up, now you would just go back up to here. Go to default, and then you would it's 25 frames, everything's good, 720p, everything's good. I always say do a double check because it's better to make sure you're right rather than render it out and have to re-render it. So then once you have all that, all you would do is go up to here and go to select animation to render out your file. Now one other thing, right here, you select right here so you know where your file was going at. So pick whatever folder you want, you would just select it, hit accept, and then you'd be good to go. It'll send it to that to that file. So that then you would just come up here to render animation, select animation, and your animation will render out, or your video will render out. Okay, and once your video renders out, I mean, typically for myself, what I would do is go to my YouTube page and just go to upload. Because I'm in the video, it's going to say, okay, there it goes. So I would just go to upload, and then I would just grab a video file over and just pull it over right into YouTube. One of the things that I would recommend before you do that, once you do upload your video, like as YouTube is uploading it, YouTube will actually give you the option of putting a custom thumbnail in. And one of the things that I would recommend that you do is you can download GIMP. GIMP is like, alternative to Photoshop, totally free. Typically what I do is I have a, this is my Blender or my tutorial upload for my Blender tutorials, and basically what I have is I have these files ready to go. So I'll put like a skill level of whatever I think the skill is for the different tutorial. Like this one here, I'll probably put beginner. I have it when it's a Blender tutorial, I have it saying Blender, but I have these I have everything set up in different files so that it's just easy for me to maneuver around, and you want to have something so that when you upload your tutorial, that it can be striking for your for your cover shot. Otherwise YouTube will give you just a random shot. So I recommend you download Blender. You download GIMP and put together something, a little something for your cover shot. Okay, guys, that's it. That's it for the how to record a video tutorial or on-screen video tutorial. Like I said, it's kind of like looking into a mirror, because here is Camstudio recording me making this tutorial right now, which I'm about to upload to YouTube. I'll go through the steps I just showed you guys. Daniel, I hope that this helped you out. Anybody else who's making or plan to make on-screen video tutorials, I hope that this helped you guys out. All the software that I showed you guys is all open source, which means it's all free. So I hope it goes well to you. I hope it works out for you guys the way you want it to. And if you guys like this video and you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.